From the deep, dark reaches of Star Trek Online comes Nikodas, Tabbtyha, and Grebog with another episode of Fleet Action Report.
Hello, and welcome to Fleet Action Report, the show where we don't just play the game, but we teach you how to play the game.
That was Nikodas. I am Tabbtyha, and here is Grebog.
All right, tonight, let's see, Computer Run Program, Fleet Action Report, episode 237, Meta-tation. So yes, we'll be going into meta stuff, what a lot of people consider meta. I know there's a lot to this. We'll when we dig into it, we'll kind of go, yeah, there's a lot there. Anyway, thank you for being here, for supporting us. We appreciate all that are here, whether you're here live in spirit or however you want to, through you're a virus on my computer when watching, however. We appreciate all of you. You're a botnet.
Your window.
Yeah, you're a botnet grabbing my mouse cursor and dragging it around. Whatever. Also, you can subscribe. That's one way you can also help chat with us while we're streaming. Or if you want, you can buy us. If you don't want to give Twitch money, you can buy us a cup of coffee over at ko-fi.com/jitterybog. And yeah. So, Tabby, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
Let's see. It's another week of classes for me, but as opposed to the first week, which was mainly just introduction things, now we're starting to get into the actual learning of things, and like I'm starting to learn all sorts of cool stuff about my camera, and going out and taking like cool pictures and stuff, and walking a whole lot more than I am used to, because yeah, so like my class usually, like the first part of like the first hour is like, okay, here's this new aspect of your camera where I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you about. Okay, now utilizing this new aspect of your camera, go walk around campus for the next 45 minutes and take a variety of different shots using these criteria. And then come back and show me what you got. So
Show me what you got.
Show you what you got. But and then and of course I've got my web design class, or learning how to build web pages from the ground up. Built a simple 2-page site in basic HTML with hyperlinks. I could click back and forth between 2 pages and change the colors and the fonts using CSS. It was so exciting.
Gotta love the hyperlinks.
I'm exaggerating the excitement, but it was pretty cool. I'm excited to learn this stuff, and can't wait to see what I'm able to do with it.
Are you learning HTML5?
Yeah, HTML5 and CSS.
CSS is cool. I taught myself some CSS.
Yes, it is actually pretty cool. Like the way just the wizardry that happens with it.
You can do some really neat things with CSS.
Yeah, like there's I know there's some really sharp folks who came up with a bunch of HTML and CSS to replicate LCARs.
Cool.
For websites. So I'd love to be able to dig into that once I finally understand what it all means. But other than that, just kind of tinkering around with my home lab setup. For those who don't know what a home lab is basically like your own personal little computer/network operations center in your home, where you start like setting up like a little home server type stuff and tinkering around with self-hosting things, and I'm starting to mess with that, and it's really, really fun.
Or servers, depending upon the person.
Yeah, I now have using my skills of scrap and salvage, I've managed to cobble together two whole computers and 2 whole laptops. They're not incredibly powerful, mind you, but they're doing things, and it's exciting.
Raspberry Pi has taught me sometimes you don't need a super powerful system to do some cool stuff.
Yup. And of course, amongst all that was also a bit of STO, and not as much World of Warcraft. I've been taking care. I've been doing the Plunderstorm thing. I found a way to kind of do it in a way that I don't hate, but I can't wait till it's done. Okay, on to you. I took up a lot of space in this segment. Go ahead, Nikodas.
Oh, me? Um, I have not played a whole lot of games this week, honestly. I have a project that is due for school next week. Next week? Week after next. But it's been taking up a lot of my time among studying and trying to keep up with my crazy amounts of homework. Um, Nursing school is no joke, just in case anybody's curious. All that said, I did have my first exam in my nursing class today, which I passed with a 90%. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
So if you only want a 90% effective nurse, get Nikodas.
Oh, well, I mean,
it's better than getting the 75% effective nurse.
Yeah, considering some of the medical quote unquote professionals I've had previously, I would be happy with a 91%.
You guys are mean. Nursing school is hard, and like even in my first orientation before class, they flat out told us that half the people in the class would probably fail out. Like it's meant to be hard, and it's more than just memorization. Like most school is remember these facts, that's what you need for your test. That is not the case here. They do have facts that we need to memorize, but then we have to apply it. Like our questions aren't just what is this? It's here's your scenario. How do you apply this to this scenario? It's
The person
interesting.
has
I'm happy.
a rapid beating heart, high blood pressure, and just having fainting spells. Go.
You're not wrong. We're not quite to that point yet. We're still doing more concepts rather than like medical facts and statistics, but I'm sure that will come down the line. In any case, that has pretty much been my week. I have done the dailies on STO. I have dinked around a little bit on WoW. My youngest daughter wanted to try WoW, so we pulled out one of our older accounts and have let her play around on that. She currently has 2 characters that she's bouncing between. Um, Seems to be having fun, and I've played with her when I can, but it's not been a lot this week. So yeah, that's it for me. I guess Grebog, you have the torch.
So I've been doing my dailies in STO like y'all. I haven't gotten back into my I'm going to master every ship, which is probably good because that was probably going to be a problem eventually. Or maybe it had become a problem. Well, it just means I got to buy more. For those of you in the viewers, want to support Grebog's addiction of ship problem, you can send us money.
You just lay it right out there.
Because I can't afford to buy every ship myself, But hey, if people want to help me, and yes, it would go into ships if you send money. Anyway, so I've been playing WoW, doing the time walking thing because they have a thing. If you do like 5 time walking dungeons, you get a buff. You don't have to get this buff on the same character every week, but if you do it for 5 weeks, you get a mount. And so
What?
you did not know of this? It might be too late now to get the 5 weeks done.
Well, shit.
Because it's called Turbulent Timeways. I learned from Wowhead that this was going on, and that is what got me into doing it. And so I now have 5 tunes at 80 because I've been using time walking to level up alts. So yeah, that's game wise. I've been also prepping for a new campaign in it's going to be in Pathfinder 2, which will be interesting. Been setting up the in our virtual tabletop. I set up a default scene, and I've been putting links on it to information, like the deities, the various like the built-in, like here's all the classes and explanations on the classes, because a lot of people are new to Pathfinder 2, so they're going to need to know where to look stuff up. So I'm trying to make a nice informational page for everyone to be able to go to and click on stuff and find what they need.
So you said links. Any Zeldas?
Unfortunately, no Zeldas. This in this system, Zelda's been kidnapped instead of. Anyway, what else have been I don't know what I've been doing a lot of stuff. I dug into a log, didn't find the information I wanted it from various programs, then went actually into the log itself to do a deep dive in to try to find the information needed, and still only found not the information I wanted. And I like I said, I don't think that what I found is the information, because that's way into the fight before that damage hit. It was a big hit, but still. Anyway, STO has also had a week, and that starts with, as I told one of my friends, who is picking STO back up, KDF recruits are back, and great time to, if you're creating a new character coming back to the game and you don't have a KDF recruit, make one. You have now until February 11th to create one, and there's a bunch of special challenges that will help you level that tune up, and there are account-wide unlocks, which are amazing to unlock for all your characters. And along with this, there's the Start Your Adventure and KDF sale. So looks like most of that might have already ended. That's unfortunate. Someone forgot to check his date. So well, I guess
Whoops.
yeah, they had a sale right off of the start of this, and you could have gotten more KDF stuff, or starting students, or starting characters. All right, next thing.
So the next thing would be the new Lockbox they announced, Discovery Partners in Crime. This includes a new ship, the Breen, Keth, Sarr, Intel Courier, that has the Krenim. Is that right?
Yes.
Krenim? Huh. Okay. Krenim Chronophage console. Is that on the ship, or is that...
That's in the box.
Okay.
The ship has something else.
Okay, these are just things you can get out of the box. All right, I gotcha. So the Breen ship, the Krenim Chronophage console, which I know nothing about, the kit modules, Microsingularity generator, which actually is kind of like almost like a gravity well where it pulls your enemies in, and the Promellian assault drones module, which these drones will chase your enemies down and then explode. There are some new personal traits. The Breen shield tunneling, Harmonic shield linkage, and red directive are for space.
Breen shield tunneling is supposed to be one of the new hot ones too.
Yeah, because it bypasses shields, right? Gives you penetration.
Yes.
And then for ground, you've got resonating personal shields, glass cannon, and scent of blood. And I will say glass cannon sounds interesting. It basically increases your damage at the expense of some shielding. For weapons, both space and ground are getting a new what is it? Polaron weapon?
Yes, and all of
Based
them have ice on them as their
Yes, that's
proc.
what it is. The proc deals extra ice cold damage. I might have to actually get those on my Ice Princess, which would be a pain, but could be interesting. And then there's a Breen Courier Vanity Shield that you have a small chance to get. And then there's going to be some new Lobby items. There's a Breen Renegade outfit, a Breen Courier Renegade outfit, Breen 3191 Polaron Rifle Staff, and the Courier Stasis Pistol. We don't have the stats on those yet, but they look really interesting.
They're in. Well, I mean, you can pull them up in the Lobby store, but there is a note here: the kit modules that come out of the boxes, whoever is opening the box currently, they accidentally and made it where they locked that character. They are meant to not lock until used, so they say they'll fix it on Tuesday on the next patch.
It's all coming on Tuesday.
And with that lockbox sale, that they have a lockbox sale. No, they're having a key sale right now until February 4th, 50% off all keys. And per normal, the 20 pack with the ultimate tech upgrade is back for the duration of the sale. Also, because they're doing with this, you're going to have a lot more Lobby because they expect people to open up tons of boxes. They're doing a 20% off all Lobby items. So if you are looking to buy any of the new stuff or any of the old stuff, now's the time to buy the Lobby stuff. And for those that aren't paying attention, I am in one of the new things. I'm wearing.
Oh, is that the new Breen outfit?
Yes. I like it.
Actually, that does look really flipping cool.
Let's see. Have you talked about the anniversary yet?
Not yet.
I'm over here rearranging my bags and I got distracted. Okay, so the 15th anniversary is still ongoing, or is still incoming. Sorry. It starts on the 11th. Goes. We don't have an ending date on here. Okay.
Well, it's normally at least 4 weeks. So if it starts on the 11th, it'll probably go until at least March 4th, if not March 11th.
Okay. There is going to be a new episode called Axiom, where we get to hear Jonathan Del Arco reprise his role as Hugh. It will start season 33 event, which is called Star Trek Online Unveiled. And it will reward the Garrett Command Alliance Dreadnought Cruiser. Take that as you will. That's a mouthful. Currently, the No Win Scenarios featured event is still ongoing. You have until the 11th to get 14 completions, so you don't have enough time to get it all done if you haven't started on it, but you can get a reduction in the buyout if you're interested. The reward is the Merchantman Freighter. It does come with a unique bridge that you can then use on any ship that you want. The bridge contains a quartermaster, which is a commodities vendor, a bank, exchange, and mail. And then, of course, you'll get the typical reward of 3 TFO boxes and 25,000 dilithium. This is also the first event in the year-long campaign. And they have promised that you will get all of the rewards again. There's no choosing. So you'll get the T6 Infinity promo ship, which will be limited to ships from last year or before, nothing this year. So, like, this new Breen ship won't be in there. You'll get 2 free Tier 6 Zen Store coupons, limited to all ships that are not in the featured tab, and 1,500 Lobby. So that's it for the news. That was a lot.
That was a lot.
Hey, Grebog.
Yo.
What's our primary target today?
Well, our primary target is meta, or what people believe current meta is. Now, obviously, if you want to get, like, this is going to be fluid. It's going to, anytime they add new stuff to the game, it's going to change. And also, typically meta, like what it means is it's meant to be like the best items in game, what you could put on a ship, or for ground builds if you're doing ground meta. But this is going to focus space meta, but it's like whatever makes the works the best. And you should be able to put on a ship and make yourself sing through space. But like I said, as they keep adding stuff, and they've added so much stuff, there's a large diversity that the meta is very fluid, in my opinion, right now, and can vary based on your build type. So there will be things that will work better on directed energy weapons builds. Sometimes it may even matter whether you're going at fire at will, cannon scatter volley, or whatnot. Even that might alter what really works the best for all that.
That being said, we do have a short list here of a lot of the equipment and items in the game that are considered meta. So, for example, for most types of weapons, you can pick whatever flavor you want. That doesn't matter. What you're looking for is what's going to support that. So, Disruptor and Phaser tend to take the lead because they have the most supporting gear, meaning things like consoles that increase phaser or disruptor damage and whatnot. The only exception to this is plasma. Um, you can go the ultimate plasma set's good and then use a flavor of plasma, but only if you have the trait complex plasma fires, which comes off the Gorn pilot raider. Um, that raider also has a plasma quad cannon that's really, really good. So if you have it, use it. If you don't, then pick your flavor of the week. And I'll even take a moment here to talk about phasers because I did a little project for something we're going to do down the road. And there are currently 20 different types of phaser variety in the game. Each one has its own little proc and whatnot. Um, for the most part, you can just pick whichever one you want or mix and match because the chance of the procs are still so low at 2.5% that it's almost negligible. Um, and certainly doesn't really make enough difference between all of them. The only exception to that I'm aware of is the crafted variety that has PEN on it, which is short for penetration. Those are still widely considered to be the best, but that's true of any of the different energy types in the game. You're looking for that penetration. That's all I had for weapons. Who wants to do deflector?
Deflectors. All right. So deflectors. I'll do, since there's only like one, and then I'll do both the deflector and secondary deflector. But for deflector, pretty much you've got the Elite Fleet Intervention Proto Matter Deflector Array. That comes from the Fleet Colony. That there's a lot. There's not a ton of like when you get into the upper end deflectors, there's not a huge amount of difference. Like you're just like talking about like fractions between the different upper end ones. But if you just really want the like the best, well, the one that's consistently the best is that one from the Fleet Colony. Um,
that really surprises me still because with everything else you would think one that's part of a set and gets you the set bonus would be on top, but it's not. Like the number crunchers still say it's this one.
I think it's because I think like largely it's because of the proc that's on it. Like I know one of it, um, along with everything else. Let's see. Do I have? I wish I.
Is it that coal crit?
Yeah, the cold crit. Yeah, the weapon severity. Yeah, the crit severity and crit chance based on hull percent.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's gonna be big. And then with the secondary deflector, you don't like that's another one there isn't really a lot of variety in. Um, you just pick yourself up a deteriorating one. I think the one on the colony is technically better.
There's debate on that.
There's debate on that.
Yeah. There's also a deteriorating secondary deflector from the research lab that some people like as well. And it comes down to the modifiers, which will matter more when you are doing an EPG build or control build.
Right. Yeah, and which is the only time we're going to have a secondary deflector anyway. Well, I mean, you could have one if you're using a science ship on a DUSI, but I mean, still, pretty much just get yourself a deteriorating secondary deflector, and make sure it's not white or green or blue, and it's Mark 12 or better, and you're okay. You're going to be fine.
Impulse engines. Now this.
Hang on a second. Before you get into that, I wanted to backtrack a little bit because of your comments here. So you said there's a question about the 2.5% procs?
Yes. So Fire Cycle Haste has gotten so up there, absurd with all the new stuff that has come into game that there's question, because now you're hitting so many times in such a short period of time that 2.5% proc is actually procking more often than it used to. So I haven't heard the final outcome of this debate, but there are people that are starting to dig into whether it's no longer a moot point about those 2.5% procs. Because right now, well, before Fire Cycle Haste was so up there, the 2.5% didn't happen enough to matter, and that's what it always boiled down to. Now it might start mattering.
If you do a Fire Cycle Haste build, I gotcha. All right, go on. Sorry for the interruption.
All right.
I mean, we're here to ask questions and inform and
impulse engines. Now, a lot of people like to go with the competitive engines. I'm using one right now, which you have three flavors, and it depends on your personal preference on what they'll do. And essentially, like you have the prevailing. I just go to the rep competitive. You can see all three flavors.
It's based on what abilities are going to trigger it. Like prevailing innervated is off of tactical abilities. So anytime you hit a tactical ability like a firing mode, this is going to kick in.
Yeah, and bolstering, I believe, is engineering, and then the other one is for science. And like I said, it all depends on how you want to fly your ship, on which one you might pick up. Let's say you want one that when you hit a defensive, like I don't know, reverse shield polarity, you use the engineering one to get yourself out of there while your shields are reversing their polarity. You know, various things. All depends on how you want to fly your ship, on which ways that works. Another common one that people have used is the Romulan advanced prototype impulse engines that come from the rep. Yeah, both of these are rep based. So the main reason that the Romulan advanced prototype comes into favor with a lot of people is it has turn on it. And it means that you can more easily get your ship pointed at your enemies, and because the more times you're facing them and you're doing a forward facing build, the more damage you're going to do.
even on a broadside build, you still want to be able to, turn to get the most weapons firing at once.
Yeah. Plus, it has some good default impulse flight speed on it, and yeah, it's a good standard maneuverability basically to your ship, not just that turn.
You can do the warp core too.
All right, warp core. Now this used to be specifically the mycelial harmonic matter antimatter core, which comes from disco rep. Though there are people that are now switching to the Tholian nucleating warp core, which is from an event reclaim. Now the mycelia harmonic matter antimatter core works great if you're going to use Tilly's review pending shield, because it gives you a 2-piece set and helps you with your survivability that way. But with the Tholian one, essentially you're gonna pop crystals out wherever you hit an enemy. Also, yeah, some Tabby's gotten to scene. I've put this on my jellyfish, and it's amazing what this can do with these crystals, because you'll start stacking up crystals, and if you have an enemy that spawns in at one spot consistently and you're just annihilating them on spawn, the new ships will run into those crystals and take damage. And if you need to get any like shield healing, let's say you're taking a lot of shield damage, you can run through a crystal. Even if your shields were knocked completely offline, bumping one of your own crystals will give you a shield bubble temporarily, which maybe buy you that time to get your shields back online. So that is kind of where the fully enucleating warp core kind of comes in. It's extra damage for you, and it can add some survivability if you're flying around and bumping into your own crystals.
So the shields, for a long time, it was Tilly's review pending modified shield, and that was it. There is an alternative now. It's another event reclaim called the Kittimer Alliance Regenerative Shield Array, and the reason people like this is because it deals extra damage. So anytime your shield facing is reduced to 0, the next foe that hits you after that gets slapped with 6,000, well, with a certain amount of anti-proton damage as a big hit, and then it gets a smaller hit as a damage over time for 6 seconds. So like right now on mine, and I haven't even pulled this out of the claim box, it says the initial hit is 6,000, and then it's 1,011 for 6 seconds. So in total, it's 12,000 damage. That's a big hit.
Oh, I did forget one.
Wow.
So people like it for the extra damage output. Now you do lose a fair bit of survivability, especially if you have the 2-piece from Tilly's. But the thought process is the little crystals should make up for the survivability by basically helping you keep your shields up, and then this deals extra damage. So take it as you will. For experimental weapons, there's been a debate for a long time on what experimental weapons are the best. I know the Voice of the Prophets was a big one for a while, but it looks like the phaser hexacannons from the Achilles Miracle Worker Heavy Destroyer has kind of taken the crown for this. Now, do either of you know, is that because of it can be boosted from consoles, or is it just that good on its own?
My understanding, its damage output is just way up there. Okay. I think Fire Cycle Haste affects it better than other things, and same with just in general damage increases. Trying to see. I have it on a ship. I just don't remember which ship's got it right now.
And one thing that Grebog just noted that we did not include in our weapons category is the
Omnis.
Pavan Omni. Here, I've got it. I didn't have it equipped, but I have it. So the omnidirectional Pavan proton beam array is considered the best in slot for a aft weapon. It deals proton damage, not anti-proton, proton damage, which most enemies do not have any resistances to. So the damage just cuts right through them.
It is
And
currently so good that if you're doing a cannon build and are using turrets, you should save a slot for this, is what's being said.
Cool.
So
yeah, it's a good weapon. Okay, and that's also an event reclaim, right?
yes.
So if you did the event and you've got it, use it. Otherwise, you'll have to wait for it to come to probably Muds at some point.
Or maybe they'll put it into the Phoenix. They did start re-adding stuff to the Phoenix store again.
True. Okay, so that talked about that, and I'll do devices, and then I'll hand the reins over to one of you guys. Since I wrote the devices, I figured I would run through them. So, in essence, you can use whatever devices you want. Now, there are two specifically that a lot of high-end players use, and that's the reactive armor catalyst, which is a heal, so it's kind of your oh crap button. And this comes from, it's crafted, but only after you complete the Broken Circle episode from the Iconian War arc. And then the other one that they talk about is the Deuterium Surplus. This is a huge speed and turn buff. And this one is also crafted, but only after you complete the defense contract daily. Both of them are pretty cheap to make once you unlock them. So keeping your supply up isn't usually a problem. And as you see, I've got the reactive armors at 7 and the deuteriums at 14. So I'm getting to a point where I might need to craft some more. The only other thing that I mentioned, now there's a few other good ones. If you have them, use them. But the only other one that I really mentioned as being part of the meta is the red matter capacitor. This is a uh, pretty big damage boost. As you can see here, it gives power levels, increases damage, acts as a shield battery, um, just a whole bunch of stuff that you get from clicking this. And then it does count as a battery. So if you have any skills or traits that boost the effectiveness of batteries, this counts as a battery. Yeah, that's all I had for devices. So whoever
Oh,
wants to take off on consoles.
I added one in.
Oh, I don't see it.
Huh. I
Talk
put
about
in
it. Go
also
for it.
the auxiliary battery large has started to make a comeback, and that's because of the one of the consoles that basically the more aux power you have, the more it does its boost. And so people, when using this console, it's called the Fleet Power Network Array, which we'll talk about in here in a second. When using that console, you kind of want to have it works really well to hit the battery, then use the console to get an extra aux boost before you get a buff that's based on your aux power. So consoles now. Abby, you want
Consoles.
those?
Yeah, I'll take the consoles. Don't mind if I do. So consoles, let's see. First up, we've got universal consoles, the DPRM, the Dynamic Power Redistributor console module. That one comes off the Atlas prototype Dreadnought Cruiser, which was made more accessible by the Muds Mega Bundle. And so if you didn't have it any other way, you now you can now get it fairly easily reclaimable there. How was it? Was it like Phoenix or Lobi?
It was a lockbox ship.
Okay. It was a lockbox ship, but now you can get it through Muds, and it wasn't prohibitively expensive, so it's it's fine. But
Muds bundle's cheaper than buying that ship by itself when it was in a
yeah.
box.
So DPRM Domino, the Domino from the Bajoran Interceptor, which is also if you had done the event that gave you the free Phoenix token, Epic Phoenix token, you can pick up the Bajoran Interceptor. And
or if you're old like me and played when that was an event ship.
I wish I had done that. I missed that one.
Anyway, continue.
Let's see here. Fleet power network array off the Awani command carrier. Subspace fracture tunnel from the Voven obelisk carrier, and then the custom power matrix from Elios. Yeah, like so this is like a one lockbox / Muds, one Epic Phoenix token, and then one C store and 2 event ships.
Yeah.
So as far as like high end consoles go, like this isn't a bad spread.
Well, and this is why I tell people when there's an event and there's something, just do the event. Yes, you may not want the item initially, but you may come back and regret not getting the ship because of its console or its trait or whatever you know. Yeah.
Well, and frankly, they're free. I mean, I get it. You think the ship's ugly or you're not interested in its seating or whatever, but they're free. And you get them by playing the game. I mean, I do understand though, some people decide they need a break and they want to skip an event or whatever, because for the most part we almost always have an event going on. So burnout's a thing. I totally get it. But you never know what you're going to miss out on. I do have a question real quick about the Fleet Power Network Array. I've got mine pulled up and it says enhance ally and pets they control.
Correct.
Can you target yourself?
By default, when you use it, it targets you. If you are targeting another player, it will boost them. This has become meta even for DPS runs, where everyone on the team will have it. Everyone on the team except for the person going for the DPS will target everyone else targets the person running the DPS. The person doing the DPS targets themselves, and they just basically keep cycling. So this person will constantly have all that plus haste. So yeah, it's how people are getting 3 million DPS now. It's getting silly.
Okay. I am currently using all of those on my Elios here. I have all 5 of them. That's what I was just looking for. I did not have the fleet power on here because I wasn't sure if you could target yourself with it, but I do now.
Okay, speed running through the rest of them. Engineering your isomag plasma distributed manifolds. Those are crafted, and usually, if you go about it smartly, you can get them cheap. Buy them buy the Mark IIs with the wrong thing, with the wrong mod for dirt cheap, and then kind of roll the mod that you want, then upgrade them at your leisure. For science, grab the Nausicaan Siphon Capacitor, which is a mission of Brushfire, I believe.
For those disruptor builds.
Yep. Yeah, especially for those disruptor builds. Wow. That was a little bit that was a little bit more emphatic than I wanted. Tactical, you've got your vulnerability locators and exploiters from the Fleet Spire. Make sure you buy them in your weapon flavor. Fikiri Torment Engine from a mission. Don't tell me. Leap of Faith. The one where we helped Laurel. And then Lorca's custom fire controls. That comes from the Discovery Reputation system.
The only other thing that we looked up for talking about the meta is hanger pets. And again, this is one that's kind of been all over the place for what the best is. I know, like, the Romulan drone ship was considered the best for a while. The Klingon fighters in blue rarity were
Those
considered the best for a while.
specific builds, those still are.
Fair, but overall, the one that seems to take the cake right now is the Type 7 shuttlecraft off of the Awani. Yeah, what about the Mirror Type Cs? Those were on top for a while. Have I assume the Type 7 is above them now?
Yes.
And we had talked about, so I want to bring this up because I was confused about it. So off of the Heritage bundle, you could get the Elite Valor fighters. And I know off the bat, those were hitting some pretty high numbers on the on the damage meters. Grebog was telling me before the show started that is not the case anymore. They were hit with the Nerf bat, and apparently they were hit really hard.
They now perform within margin of the other hanger pets. It's just that the Type 7s right now are on top of the pile.
There you go.
And I think a lot of it has to do with, let me pull up Type 7. These have on them, when you get them in the top flavor, they'll have like, well, one, they have 2 Omni beams on them. And I believe that they can do, is not the same, but they have attack pattern beta 3, close and sensor pass 3, and beams fire at will 1 on them. So the fact that they have a fire at will and they have omnis is pretty potent. Compared to, like, let's say we're looking at here the Mirror Universe shuttlecraft, which was one of the top ones before. It only has a phaser beam array and then an omni. So it one of its beams may not fire all the time. And then it has beam overload 3 and tractor beam 3, which not bad things. But when you factor in one of them has attack pattern beta 3 baked in, that's a pretty big buff for itself.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what makes it shine comparatively.
Interesting.
That, okay. And it doesn't have a torpedo, I don't think, on it, which means it doesn't screw up SAD.
Fair. Although I thought they fixed that.
Supposedly, but from my understanding, it gets broken again and then gets fixed again. And it is what it is. So people just count on yeah.
It's a 15-year-old game. Features are going to happen. All right, so that covers our primary target. I know that was a lot of information. I'm sorry that it was a lot of talking. We can queue up for something real quick just to have some fun. Next week we are going to go over combat logs and the different types of programs that are out there.
how to properly put them into your fireplace so that way they burn appropriately and keep you nice and warm.
No,
I
the
like
combat logs are for hitting people.
Oh, right. Make sure it fits in your grass so that way when you can get a nice good swing.
I need my daily. You guys want to do that?
Sure. We woo.
We
Or
Wayoon.
Wayoon.
He picks space, so he doesn't get to see my ground appearance. Too bad.
Oh, Sorry.
I'm just showing off the Breen Renegade outfit. Yes, I spent the 160.
Cool.
I was like, I spent the 160 Lobi to get it because, well, one, it's on sale, and two, I thought it looked cool.
It is cool. It's a neat outfit that they came up with.
I'm not.
I want that. I want the ship too, but I'm not going to play the Lockbox game, so I have to wait a year.
I'm not as impressed with the ship, but it's probably not a bad ship or platform.
I just like the way it looks.
It does look cool.
I mean, that's enough reason to pick up the ship.
It's one of the few 32nd century ships that I actually like. Okay. Well, here we go. I'm going to have to switch out the shuttlecraft on the ships I have that use them.
Hopefully I have all... I feel like I'm missing stuff off my bars. Because I am. I'm sure it's all fine.
Hey, USS Lorenzo, do you have any llamas?
Or tribbles?
No, llamas.
Quit shooting my little friends over there.
Oh, I bet that was an isometric charge.
Next wave is incoming.
Something hit me and it hurt pretty bad. After going through combat logs, I'm like, oh, no, I think that's the... There's other problems in this.
Heads up! Another wave is coming your way.
Here they come. Oh, Terrans. We went from Klingons to Terrans.
Here they come to wreck your day.
Okay, I don't need 2 brace for impacts. Oh,
I
dang.
have not thought of in a long time. More Klingons? Oh, Romulans. Okay.
People
Oh,
are
no,
watching me
Klingons, I
go
was right.
through. I'm going through my abilities and trying to figure out which ones are missing and which ones are here.
Get ready for another wave.
Kobayashi Maru keeps moving, and I'm over
The
here like,
system's
I thought you were
offline bomber
disabled.
fix is active.
So disabled. Not all disabilities are the same.
The system's offline bomber fix is active.
Not all disabilities are visible.
Yeah.
The next wave is incoming. Enemy assault
Okay.
incoming. Survive the onslaught.
Oh no.
This is the last one.
Survive the onslaught.
Oh, Borg.
My screen just explosions everywhere.
All these assimilators. Go kaboom. You love this little ship. I tell you what, the Elios is not my favorite designed ship ever.
Heads up! Another
But it
wave
is
is coming your
powerful.
way. All right, everyone.
It flies well.
Yeah.
It's just in general a decent flying ship, and yeah.
I'm getting my my Terran Lexington set back up for heavy tank.
Oh, nice.
Yup.
Nice. I should revisit my Lexington. I do love the look of the Odyssey. That's still my favorite designed ship in all of Trek right now. I just think it's gorgeous. But hey, that's me. All right, guys. That's going to do it for this episode of Fleet Action Report. Tune in Monday night for Fun Night when we'll be blowing stuff up. And tune in next Thursday for our episode on combat logs. And until then, I will see you out there.
Have fun, be safe, and don't set yourselves on fire.
That is not what you're supposed to say, sir.
Well, I'm sorry, I started reading chat. Stick around. We'll raid somebody. Live long and prosper, everybody. Computer, end program.